This video is going to be a little bit different to my normal videos. Apart from anything else, I'm recording it in the car rather than in the studio. However, the main thing is that it's going to be a response to a question that came up. It wasn't really a question, more of a comment that got put up on one of my videos recently about how the person was disappointed in the Fuji system. The reason they said they were disappointed in the Fuji system was that when they had it in, and I don't know exactly what setting they were using, but some of the auto settings, the camera bounced up the ISO to ISO 25,000 and made the shot unusable. And what they said after that was that they then just gave up on the Fuji system. They decided that it wasn't any good for them. It wasn't going to do what they wanted it to do. Now, the thing is with that, and I don't want to call this person out, so I'm not going to mention their name or anything like this, but this is why you need to have control over your camera settings. Because when you get your camera out of the box and you put it into, I don't know, P mode or auto mode or whatever, but you're letting the camera make some of those decisions, especially for something like ISO. The camera doesn't know what creative vision that you have for your images. All the camera knows is that it's going to try and make what it sees through its lens 18% grey. That's all it's got at its disposal. So, of course, if you don't change any of the settings, if it's capable of doing 25,000 ISO, it'll do it. You need to go in there and have control over that system. And that doesn't matter whether you're using Fuji system, Canon, Nikon, Phase 1, Hasselblad, anything, it will all do the same thing. If you put it in an automatic setting and let it make the decisions, sometimes it's going to be okay and sometimes it's going to make a decision that's bad for the type of picture that you're trying to make. In the case of the Fuji, and it's just staying with most of them, if you go into the auto ISO mode, you can then in the settings control that so that it will only move the ISO between a certain sort of parentheses. So in mine, I get it set from 200 to 6400, for example, because I know that within that range, the pictures look okay. If you're more sensitive to noise and you want your images to look cleaner, you might have it set between 200 and 800, something like that. And the same with the shutter speed. You can set the minimum shutter speed that it'll go down to, so that, rather than it gets really low light, rather than dropping it all the way down to like a 15th or something, you can set it to not go lower than a 60th or 125th or 200th of a second, so that you're not going to get motion blur in the pictures. So there's nothing wrong with using the auto settings. Fill your boots. I'm not one of these people that will tell you that you should always be in manual at all times, otherwise you're not a real photographer, because frankly that's bollocks, isn't it? Like, nobody's ever in the history of the world looked at one of the greatest photos ever and gone, oh, I wonder what the settings were on that, I wonder if they were in M or S or A or P on the dial. Nobody's ever thought that. They're just looking at the image and how it resonates with them. So take the picture in whatever mode you want, I don't care. But what you really should be doing is understanding what the thing is that you're allowing the camera to do in each of those modes and setting it up in such a way that it's not going to screw you over. And either, if you think it's going to screw you over, putting it into manual mode, or at least setting the amount of movement that you're going to give, the amount of flexibility that you're going to give to the camera, and do the rest yourself. So that's it. If you haven't got those settings set up in your camera, then go and do that now. Because you just go through all the settings. If you're on auto ISO, what is the bracket that it's going to change to? Go and set that up to something that's sensible. Same with your shutter speed. Go and set that up into something that's sensible and that won't screw you over later. Your photos will be better for it. I'll see you all again soon. Cheers.